So as the 501st starts to make their way towards the Umbaran airfield that has been supplying Umbaran forces across the surface of the planet, they're going to face some of the fiercest armored resistance of the campaign, and I figured today we could take a closer look at the two main armored vehicles used to protect the approach to the airbase. I'm Colin, and this is Sci-Fi Deep Dive. Remember, if you enjoyed this video, to head down below and hit that subscribe button. So I'm of course talking about the impeding assault tank, which is the centipede-like tank we see utilized by the Umbarans at the opening of the canyon, and the mobile heavy cannons we see utilized by the Umbaran forces near the end of the Republic drive towards the airbase. These are two of the most feared pieces of Umbaran technology, and quite frankly, two of the most stunning to see on the battlefield, so I figured before we get into that part of this campaign, it'd be a good time to discuss how these impressive pieces of technology work, and the applications they have on the ongoing campaign on the shadowy world. So let's start with the impeding assault tank, since it's the first armored vehicle we see during this engagement. This 55-meter long centipede-like tank forms the core of the first wave of Umbaran armored defenses around their airbase. It's armed with 10 double-mounted blaster cannons on each of its body segments, 4 articulated turret guns mounted on the head of the vehicle around the cockpit, and 2 twin cannons at the tail of the vehicle, giving it a full coverage, 360 degrees, around the tank for offensive and defensive purposes. It's also worth noting that the segments of the tank appear to be relatively independent, with the loss of any segment, with the exception of the head, being non-fatal to the vehicle. It can simply continue as half the length it was before. On top of that, the whole vehicle is protected by a fairly strong set of ray shields, which makes it nearly impervious to small arms fire, meaning the Republic forces had to bring out things like rocket launchers to be able to take down this behemoth. To add to the terror that these tanks bring to the battlefield, they were also capable of burrowing underground, something we see them use to great effect. These tanks were able to burrow under enemy positions, springing up behind Republic troops, and carrying out flanking assaults very, very easily. This poses a huge risk to Republic forces, especially out in the open, and especially in narrow passes, which is where we see them used. That being said, though, it's worth noting that most of the armament on these tanks appears to be geared towards engaging infantry, because a lot of it is smaller blaster cannons. They don't really have anything heavy on this tank that could take out, say, an AT-TE, and I think against Republic heavy armor, they'd be pretty useless. They really were only as effective because they were going up against infantry and light scout vehicles like the AT-RT. That much can't be said about the next vehicle, however, the Umbaran Mobile Heavy Cannon, their field artillery piece. This tank walker, which seems comparable in size to a Covenant Scarab, which we see in Halo, towers over the battlefield and is an imposing presence similar to that of the AT-ATs seen during the Battle of Hoth, utilized by the Galactic Empire. Its primary weapon is a single, roof-mounted, articulated electromagnetic plasma cannon which serves as an artillery piece, firing arcing shells of plasma longer distances. If anyone, particularly infantry, managed to get close to this tank, there's a pair of twin anti-personnel laser cannons mounted beneath the chin of the vehicle that make short work of any infantry that get too close, thanks to their high vantage point. And on top of this, like the assault tank, these are ray-shielded, making them nearly impervious to small arms fire. Which brings me to the cockpits on the mobile heavy cannons. These appear to be the same cockpits that are used on their starfighters. Particularly the Xanaus 33 starfighters that are used almost exclusively by the Umbaran Militia. And as I mentioned in my video about Umbaran technology in general, these cockpits do seem to be interchangeable. So a crew trained to fly, say, the Xanaus 33, could also conceivably pilot a heavy mobile cannon. Or at least the parts would be interchangeable, so it would be easier to do repairs on either cockpit. All in all, these two pieces of armor are easy things to point to describe how superior Umbaran forces and their technology are on the battlefield, and to demonstrate how terrifying that can be. The impeding assault tank is a masterful flanker that can sneak up behind adversaries burrowing underground to get the upper hand, while the mobile heavy cannon is a terrifying walker that towers over the battlefield, similar to an Imperial all-terrain assault transport. Together, these formed the defensive positions around the Umbaran airbase, and they proved to be some rather formidable pieces of technology. If you'd like to learn about other pieces of advanced technology deployed by the Umbarans during the Battle of Umbara, I'll leave a link up here to my video on Umbaran technology. And I'd like you to let me know down in the comments which of these vehicles you think is more formidable, the impeding assault tank or the mobile heavy cannon. Which one would you rather come up against in combat if you had to pick one or the other? And if you have anything else you'd like to see me cover in Star Wars, you can let me know down below in the comments. Last but not least, if you enjoyed this video, head down below, hit the like button, the subscribe button, and the bell icon so you get notified when I upload new videos. So for Sci-Fi Deep Dive, I'm Colin, and I will see you next time.